There we are. Did I mess this up again? I guess not. Am I in the right place? Interference. What kind of interference, I wonder? Interference. What kind of interference, I wonder? Let's see if you can hear me any better now. Sounds like a fan. Some fuzziness. That's strange. I haven't changed anything about how I'm working this. Maybe I'll just turn it down a little bit. Tell me if that's any better. Fan noise is still there. I'm not hearing myself either, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I haven't figured this thing out at all. All the times I've practiced this and I still don't know what I'm doing. It's loud. Echo. Okay, let's see if this does any better. Is anybody hearing me any better now? The noise is there too. I'm not really sure what to tell you because I mean, there's no difference in my room or what I've got going on. In fact, the air conditioning is not even running right now. Moved my phone. Oh, how about that? My phone's halfway across the room. Did that help away? I have YouTube on, but I don't have the volume on. We'll see if I can figure this out. Let's see. How about that? Is that any better? Oh, well, Paula just figured her problem out. Little white noise. Is it still good? Are we publishable here? My problem, I don't understand why I don't hear myself on the screen. That's really weird. Well, I guess I'll just go without feedback. Well, we got 11 minutes left. I don't want to get started too early. I know there's 15 people watching right now, but we're already a full minute into this before I even had a chance to start figuring it out. A background noise like a fan. White fuzz. I'm going to have someone else help me figure that out because I do not know. Let me see if I can move my mic and get that to change any. Tell me if that happens to change anything. And I'm not really seeing what the problem is on this end. I'm still looking though. Still trying to figure it out. Yeah, it has to be something in the settings or one of the filters or something that's causing this problem, and I hope it's not too much of a problem for people to hear me and understand me. It's not bad at all. Okay. Wish I knew what was causing it though. Yeah, Bill, I'm sure it's there. The thing is I don't know what to do to correct it. I'm going to have to get someone to teach me how to correct the issue. And right now is probably not the time for me to be trying to learn how to correct the issue because I may screw up the entire feed altogether. And I don't want to do that. The ocean breeze. Yes, I own West Palm Beach, Florida. The entire place. This is live, Steve in Dallas. Might be off by a few seconds, but it is live. Here, let's do something. How's that? Owner of Coppercoins in West Palm Beach, Florida. Broadcasting to you live from West Palm Beach, Florida. Still got 8 minutes before I can start the lots. I got a whole bunch of stuff lined up for next week. This week is Variety and Error Night, or Error and Variety Night, whichever way you want to say it. Next week we're going back to singles, and some of them are relatively high value singles. I've got a whole bunch of pretty high grade Lincoln Cents here. Got a few from PCGS as well. Got a number of better coins, decent coins, nice coins. No, not all copper. Got some, now tonight's lots are not all copper either. There's all sorts of different things. There is a 46p, but that'll be running next week. Yes, there will be slabs on the next show. And what I hope to do is be able to get all these up online. I'm going to type in the link here. Right there, coppercoins.com/auction. You can go there now, hey Blues, and you can look at the coins that will be running for auction tonight. And then you'll be able to eventually, once I get worked ahead of myself, you'll be able to see the coins that I will be auctioning the future week, every week. So right now I should have close to 90 different lots on that page. However, I don't because I've fallen a bit behind. Variety and Error Night tends to pull me a little behind because I'm taking close-up photos too. And those take some extra time. Hey, Bigfoot. Would I auction a spray painted Morgan silver dollar? Spray painted a copper color? Probably. Yeah, I think so. Hey, why not? It's still silver, right? Copper plated with a silver core. And I am going to be drinking coffee this evening. So excuse that in the very beginning. Payments accepted if you contact payments@coppercoins.com and get yourself registered with an email address and your real name. We can accept money orders, postal money orders only, please, and PayPal for payments. If you're going to do a postal money order, my address is P.O. Box 542603, Green Acres, Florida 33454. I'll get that up on the screen later. And Penny Parents back from her trip to Chicago. Yay! They had so much fun. I wish I could have had that kind of fun when I went to Chicago, but my camera got stolen from me. I didn't have the best time with Chicago. I tried. It was one of the first really big shows that I had ever been to. Was one of the A&A shows that happened up in Chicago. And this was, gosh, it was a decade and a half ago. Yeah, that hot dog was kind of cool. Even though I don't eat hot dogs, it still looked delicious. Delish. And Sarah has to learn how to share. You are my sister. That means that she's my sister too, so she needs to calm down. I will accept cash at your own risk. She's going to have to learn. She now has a big brother living in Florida. Yeah, the problem with me and shows is you see my inventory. Hang on a second. Let me get my inventory out and show you. This right here is part of my inventory. And it's not in date mint order. It's in order by the inventory number. And given that it's in order by the inventory number, this drawer has to have a spreadsheet to go with it in order to be of any use to me. So if I were to try taking that to a show and spread it out and somehow on a table in all these double row boxes, nobody would be able to find anything because nothing is in date and mint order. You'd have to use my sheet to find it, and my sheet is a few thousand lines in a Google spreadsheet. I would like very much, because every bit of the inventory I have is for sale. I'm not deeply in love with any of the coins I have. I like them, but I'm not deeply in love with them. Kid did okay. Silver nitrate. We have the folks coming in. Yeah, the time I have in my system, trust me, it's not just what you see. It's 13 years worth of putting things together. Isn't that cool? I'm doing great, Starbuck. I am organized only to the effect that what I have ready for sale is organized. I have boxes and rolls and boxes and boxes of stuff that is not yet ready for sale because, well, frankly, half of it I don't even know what it is or where it is. Every card is stamped with an inventory number. Everything has its number. Everything has its place. Email that you send your information to is going to be payments@coppercoins.com. From Oregon. We have another from Oregon in here. Huge box of coins. Was it came in the mail from me? Oh, really? The huge box. It didn't have a whole lot in it, but I don't like trying to cram everything into a place where it doesn't really belong. So I did the best I could. But wasn't that cool, paying $4 for shipping and you get a medium flat rate box? You're only helping with the cost. But that's fine. That's all I ask for. All right, here we are. It is 9 o'clock Eastern. Do you know where your children are? Yes, be sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe. That's how we keep going. I need more people to subscribe, more people to come here and have fun with us to make this a great show. All right, so here we go. Right at 9 o'clock, I want to let you know that Charlie's moderators are all here this evening. We got Brady Douglas, we've got Jessica Johnson, and we have Amber Panel. This is Coin Night Live Auctions hosted by Chuck Daughtry, and I am Chuck Daughtry. Let's go ahead and get started on the first item, and I'll let you know we're going to get to look at items. And after I've given everyone a good chance to take a look at it and a good chance to start bidding, then I will run a timer. And when that timer runs out, Amber will call time. When Amber calls time, when she sees the timer run out, that's the end of the bidding. So we're going to start tonight on lot number 76. Lot number 76 is an NX graded 1957 D/D RPM. It's RPM number 3, and this one is, I believe, listed in the Cherry Picker's Guide as well. Starting bid on this is $10. It's an MS65 red graded coin. This is one of the nicer repunch mint marks for 1957. There's quite a number of them, but this one's one of the best. And I don't know if you can really see it well, but what you're looking at here is you're kind of looking, they say D/D, but there's actually 3 Ds in this particular coin. There's the one to the southwest, which is relatively easy to see. But if you look at the top right of the primary D, you'll see a little curve coming out of it below the 5. That's your 3rd D. These coins typically sell for close to $20 in this condition. So I decided to start this one nice and cheap and let you guys have a good chance to fight for it. Time frame on payment, I'm looking for it within 3 to 5 days. It's not that big of a deal. If we're doing PayPal, as long as I know your information and know when you're going to pay, I don't really have a problem. I'm kind of calm and easy about that sort of thing. Stephen Dallas at $11 right now. Looking for more active bidding, or I'll start the timer and let it count down. And go ahead and start the timer on this one. You can see up at the top of your screen, hey Bob, that there is a timer counting down. When that timer gets down to 0 on Amber's screen, she is going to call time. When she calls time, it's all said and done. No more bidding. So make sure you get those bids in now before the timer has a chance to run out. We're still going pretty low on this one. Stephen Dallas got a $11 bid, sorry. Andy puts in a $12 bid. And I will watch it until time runs out. We have a $13 bid. Whoa! Kid did okay, yes. A money order will be fine. Time has been called. I have not yet received your money order from last week's auction, just to let you know. Thank you, Jeffrey. Let me move on to the next item up for bids. This is a 6-piece set of off-center Lincoln cents. I do believe all of these are copper. We have everything from about 50% off all the way up to about 90% or more off. None of these have dates. The starting bid on this is $8. Getting them for just barely a little bit over $1 a piece. And Stephen Dallas comes in with a $10 bid. And again, if you guys want to take a look at a whole lot of other coins for sale, I've got a bunch of them at lincolncent.com. Got a full store set up there. And I will very soon have credit card processing available so that you can use a credit card. But right now, you can use your credit cards by going through PayPal and making your payment through PayPal. You do not have to have an account at PayPal to use a credit card through PayPal. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this one. You'll get 1 minute from now to continue bidding. Hello, Brian. All you error folks need to stick around. We've got some nice errors coming up tonight. And if you want to see what's coming up in the auction, you can go to coppercoins.com/auction. That is not plural. It is coppercoins.com/auction. And you can see all of tonight's items up for bid. We are on lot 77. We're going to go up to lot 121 tonight. Unfortunately, it looks like Coin Junkie didn't jump up high enough because Shumar barely got above him. Got that rim shot layup in at $15. Thank you, Jeffrey. Let's move on to the next item up for bids. Now this coin looks a little bit prettier in hand than it seems to look on screen. And another thing is that if you look at it very closely, you'll notice that this has actually 3 clips. It has a small rim clip above the B of Liberty. It has a rim clip below the 9 of the date, and it has a substantial clip that you can see pretty easily next to the L of Liberty. This is a 40% silver half dollar, 1965 issue, and these things are pretty scarce. A single clip, not so great. A double clip, you're getting a little better. But when you get to a triple clip, they're getting pretty scarce. Kid did okay if lot 83 is a floating roof. I am not aware of that, but Let's see, what was lot 83? Figure out what lot it was. I don't have that screen open. Lot 83, 70S small date. I don't believe it is. That could just be lighting, playing games that with your eyes making you think that the roof is floating. I don't believe. I can stick it into the scope when we get to it. Let's go down to starting at $20 on this coin. Does anybody want to start this at $20? This is lot number 78, 65 Kennedy half dollar triple clip error. No bids at 20. Now I'm seeing these things sell for $30 to $40 online. And I don't know these very well, but I kind of followed the leader in looking these up online. Let's try 15. Can we get the bidding started at 15? Anybody want a clipped up 1965 half dollar for 15? Okay, no starting bid. We will pass on this one and move to the next item. We have a very nicely laminated 1934 Lincoln cent. Hi, Patrick. Now, these aren't especially hard to find when they're pretty minor, but this one's really nice. This one's got a nice big deep divot taken out and Lincoln's looking right at it. That makes them a little harder to find. Usually they're not quite that in your face. Almost looks like a boxing glove headed toward Lincoln's face. And it's a nice, very fine to extremely fine coin, probably a 35 to 40. I can't remember what I graded it on the sheet. And we got Michael Mullins up to $4 on this. And actually, Hidden Numismatist has it at $5. Lincoln was a good boxer? I wasn't aware of that. It doesn't look like he's covering very well right here. It looks like it's about to clock him right in the middle of the nose. Now go ahead and start the timer on this one. Now for those just joining us, I've started the timer. You have 1 minute left to bid. When Amber sees this go down to 0 and time up, she's going to call time in the chat. Any bids before that are valid bids. Any bids after that are not valid bids, and that's by the timestamp on the chat as I see it. We got a lot of great stuff coming up for auction tonight. Stick around. And it looks like we got Robert Adams plugged in at 8 right before Amber hit time on that. Thank you, sir. Let's move on to the next item. This is cool. This is one of those coins that doesn't come around very often. This is a flap of metal that is part of the planchet. It's a delaminated piece of metal that was still attached to the planchet that has separated mostly and is folded up, but it was part of the strike. You don't see these hardly ever. They're not easy to find, and it amazes me that this one actually took on just a little tiny bit of circulation wear. It's amazing it didn't cut somebody open. This is a really nice coin. Let's start this one off at $15. You can actually slip a piece of paper up underneath that little flange of metal. I'll show you if I can find the coin here. Here, let's play a little bit. I've still got the sniffles from the pollen and grasses and stuff. Let me switch over to my Dynalite and you'll see it. There we go. Here's that coin. Now I'm going to take a piece of paper here and see if I can surgically stick. I'm going to flip it upside down so it's easier for me to see to do it. Let's move this up a little bit. There you go. Mostly in focus. Check this out. I'm going to take this little piece of paper right here, if I can get it away from the flip that it's sitting on the desk. There. Look at that. Get a piece of paper right up underneath it. It's actually kind of just a red brownish coppery color, but that little flap of metal is actually only attached in the field, and you can see completely underneath it. This is just an awesome coin. And I can't throw this one down any from $15. Somebody's going to have to bid on it at $15, or I'm going to just pull the lot and move on. Hey, now we've got a $15 bid. I think I had a 1964 like this one time, and it was a little bit more dramatic. In fact, the split was from the edge and not from the center of the coin. I keep telling myself I'm going to keep one of these days, and this one I just haven't kept. So we've got Andy in first at $15. Robert Adams, you're going to need to up your bid if you want to keep in this game. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. And Amber will let us know when that minute runs out. We got a lot of pretty stuff coming up tonight. A lot of stuff from different denominations. It's not all cents tonight. If you've not bid with me already, you'll need to send an email to payments@coppercoins.com and let us know what your name, your full name, the email address that we are going to invoice through PayPal, so that we can get that done as soon as the auction ends. You will have your invoices tonight. Have your invoices tonight, and if you get them paid tonight, you'll have your item shipped to you tomorrow. And Robert Adams hits an $18 bid on that. Thank you, sir. And I will move on to the next item. This, folks, is a amazing coin. It's a very, very clean, nice coin with not a whole lot of die wear at all. It's an earlier die state coin, and it is also a nice red gem coin. This is 1972 double die number 2. And these things are worth every single second, or every single cent. No pun intended. of the price being charged here. I'm moving the scope in now so I can bring it up on the scope and have you take a look. There we go. And transition over to it so you can take a look at it. There's 1972 DDO number 2. It's relatively strong doubling throughout the coin. You can see it, even under magnification, it's relatively hit free. It's got one spot down there on the rim that is not an active spot. Basically being that it's not spreading. It's not carbon, it's not green, it's nothing like that. And this is a superb double die. I always tell people, if double die obverse number 1 did not exist, this one would be hundreds of dollars. Just for the sake of grading, I'll flip it over and you can see the reverse. A few spots on the reverse, but they are not active either. Hey, you got to realize you're looking at this thing many times the actual size of the coin. If I could show you the actual coin right now, actual size, and you could see what it looks like, you would notice that this is a very bright, shiny, lustrous coin. Starting this one off at $55 is very well worth the money. I'll flip it back over and let you see the doubling again. That's just dramatic. It's beautiful. $55. I'm going to give it another few seconds, then we're going to kill this one and move on to the next one. Look how clean the face is. Just one little hit on the ear. There we go. We've got a $55 bid. Thank you, Bill Smith. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock on this one. If you're thinking about bidding, get it in now. Alright, we've got time on that one. Let's move on to the next one. Thank you for your thank you for your bid, Silver Nitrate. Okay, now this one is a nice major repunchment mark, but it appears that it's been dipped or something to that effect. Now these generally go for $15 to $20 in uncirculated condition, so I'm going to start this one at $5. This is 1968 DRPM number 1. It is the FIVA Stanton listing 501. Good evening, Brady. Might clear the timer. Oh, Will, you are so funny. Brandy isn't brandy yet. We're down to under 30 seconds left on this particular item. We're at lot number 82. We have to cover up to lot number 121 tonight. Don't forget, 1 week from tonight, we're going to be doing another singles auction. That'd be the same type of auction that we ran the first time we did this. Sorry, folks, I'm trying to keep up with my messages at the same time. Work called just as a $50 came up. Hello, Mantic. Yeah, but that's okay because we're going to have more $50. So we're good. I appreciate the bid. We're going to move on to the next item. How about this, folks? 1970S small date. Bonafide 1970S small date, and this one is in beautiful condition. And there's so many of them that I've seen that have all kinds of die scratches and muckety muck all over them, and this one is a very nice clean coin. Not cleaned as in Brillo pad. This is clean as in as minted. Now you'll notice it has a couple of little spots here and there, but that does not mean this coin would not grade a full 65. And we've got this thing starting at 63 money. Starting bid has been met at $40. This coin's got nice high luster. It's a beautiful roll find. High luster and high detail as expected for the 1970S small date. Your In God We Trust is a little thin and Liberty is a little soft. But it has all the earmarks of the small date with the hook inner 9 and the 7 and 0 that are the same size. You can trace a line running all the way across the top of the date and you touch all the numbers of the date. Blues coins don't put a dot at the end. It's just payments at Coppercoins.com. That's it. We've got Bingo Brian Productions at $45 on this particular item. There's email address, Blues. Amber just put it up there. It's payments at Coppercoins.com. This, Robert's one of the nicer 1970S small dates I've ever seen. This one's going to be a great buy for someone who takes it, gets it slabbed. Looks like bidding's running a little slow on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. You got 1 minute left to make your decision on this one. This is indeed guaranteed to be a 1970S small date. It is not cleaned, and it is a Gem BU coin. Should grade 65 red at either PCGS or NGC. Thank you, Barry Johnson, with a $50 bid. I've had and sold a number of red ones of these. This is the first one that I would actually call a gem BU. I've seen so many of them that have so many distracting die scratch lines on them, and this one just doesn't. The fields are really clean on this coin. Yeah, Blues, you can bid. I know who you are. It's the people that I'm not sure I know or not sure I can find a way to get back to. But I know you. You can bid if you like. We should be getting close to time. There we go. That's right, I can hunt him down. Thank you, Bingo Brand Productions, for bidding $55 on this item. Let's move on to the next one. This, folks, this one will smack you in the face. Just wait and here's how we do it. You give us your email address so that I can send you that an invoice through PayPal, and then you pay the invoice that I send. It will include a total for all of the items that you've bid on, plus your shipping charge of $4 per lot. So I mean, it's $4 per package. Sorry. So we're open on this one. John Claggett has a $50 bid in. This is the nicest that I can tell. It's the nicest of all of the wheat cent repunch mint marks. None come finer than this. And when you get this one in a graded red holder, this is MS64 red, you just can't do better than this. Hang on, folks, we got a little conversation going on in the background here I need to take care of. You can keep getting your bids in. We've got them in the chat. We'll see them when we get back. Okay, evidently our Coppercoins email address is not working, so please send your information to coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. I'll get that up on the screen here shortly. Trying to find a good place to put this. Please bear with me while I'm making some edits. Okay, there it is, coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. It's up on the screen now. I'm going to pause bidding for a moment so you guys can get your information in. Evidently, the Coppercoins email address that I was using is not currently working. So let me pause bidding for a while we get this all situated and everyone who wants to bid can get their information into us. Coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. Yes, Bill Betts, that's the way we do it. The reason that we're collecting the information now is so that we know who to invoice. We've already got your email address. You don't have to worry about it, and I will send you an invoice for whatever you win, just like we've done before. The problem is trying to get information on people who have not yet been to this auction. And we are paused currently on this item. Lot number 84, a 1956 D RPM number 1. That is Fiva Stanton 501, FS 501, in ANAX MS64 red. John Claggett has the current bid at $60. The email address is in blue down there toward the bottom of the screen, coppercoinspayments@gmail.com. Gotcha, Bill. Didn't mean to be confusing. We're just trying to get the new bidders in so that we know who they are and so that we can get them an invoice when the show ends. Okay, so it looks like we're ready to move on. We have a $60 current open bid on lot number 84. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock on this one. We have 1 minute left to go on this. Here's the actual coin. There's a few spots here and there. It's graded MS64 red by ANAX. You can see that repunchment mark there. It's liable to slap you in the face. This is a very nice repunchment mark. It's one of the best there is for the Lincoln Cent series. And we have time. Thank you for your bid, Brian. Let me move on to the next item. This, folks, is the 1969 D FS 901. The FS 901 has no designer's initials next to the building on the reverse. This is due to a hub or a die being polished to the point where those initials disappeared. This particular variety is listed in the Cherry Picker's Guide. It is recognized by the major grading services. And I am about to bring it up so you can take a look at the actual coin. It just happens to have a little spot right where the initials would be, but the initials indeed are not there. The coin's generally a nice brown, lightly circulated coin. And it does have no initials. I'll flip it over so you can see the other side. There we are. It's about an extremely fine coin. It's 1969D. Not an S mark. Not a double die. Let's see if I can get this. Turn it back over to the mint mark area. I suppose it could be a floating roof. I know it's really kind of hard to tell, but you can see for yourself as I twirl it around in the light here that roof line kind of disappears, but it kind of doesn't. This one's kind of on the bridge between yes and no. There's a look at the whole coin again. Thank you, Brian. I'll take a look for that email. We currently have a bid of $7 on this item. If you'd like to be the new owner of it, get a bid in higher than $7. Now I'm going to go ahead and start the timer now. Penny Parent, make sure Stephen Elliott's email came in. We've got variety night tonight, where we're doing errors and varieties. Then next week we're going to go back to singles. And then the week after that, we're going to get back into rolls and lots. I've got lots of albums and I've got lots of rolls. Lots of bank wrapped rolls too. And we've got time. Stephen Dallas, coins, question mark. Not exactly sure what coins, question mark is asking. If you could expand on that question, I'll be sure to answer it for you. Sports announcer. Thank you. I'm going to clear this one off now, and let's move to the next item. I don't know that I would have made a good sports announcer, though. Now, this one goes along with that 1972 DDO number 2. This is a DDO number 3. It's FS number 103. This particular one is a very nice coin. It's a relatively high grade, full red coin. We've got a bid from Barry Johnson at $20 on this one already. And let's go over to the Digiscope and take a look. There's DDO number 3. See those die scratches right in front of the nose? There's part of your markers. Another part of your markers are some die scratches that run through the area of God. There they are, right there. And your doubling, hope I don't make anybody seasick with this, but your doubling runs the opposite direction as DDO number 2. It's a little difficult to pick it up with this scope. Let me see if I can pick it up a little bit more and get a little more shadowing going on. There we go. Now it's a little more apparent. So with this particular view, the doubling is on the top. You can see the doubling to the left of the letters are on the top of the image. I don't understand how to polarize it, Amber. I don't have control over this scope, unfortunately. When I'm using it in OBS, I don't have control over it. I know you told me how to do that, but I, like a dude, didn't listen. Very nice Gem BU coin. It has that one distracting spot behind the head. It has another spot in front of the nose. Overall, a pretty nice coin, though. It is bright red. It does have even color. And there's the whole coin again. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this one. Get a little slow on the bidding there. Yeah, 1 minute left to make a decision. I just now got that with the polarization part. Yeah, the thing is, though, I used to ride a Harley, and you're not supposed to use polarized glasses when you ride a motorcycle because any oil slicks or puddles of water, the reflections off them will be hidden by the polarization. There's a little trivia that a lot of people don't know. When you're riding a bike, you're not supposed to be wearing polarized sunglasses. Part of the safety course they teach you to give you your license. In the state of Florida, you go through a 2 or 3 day course, a safety course, and you have to show your safety certificate to the license bureau to get your license. Looks like we should be running close to time on this one. There we go. I appreciate the bids. Thank you very much. Bingo O'Brien Productions at $35 on this item. Gonna clear the time and move on to the next lot. There's another 1972 Lincoln Cent. Now this one has some pretty toning on it, and it also happens to be a clip. It's a curved clip. It has a relatively small curved clip, and I'm starting it at $1. This isn't all that special, wonderful, great a coin, but at $1, it's a nice one. Bingo O'Brien Productions has an opening bid of $10. Barry Johnson follows up with nothing higher. There we go. Barry Johnson's at $12. Sorry, Trey. We'll get something squeezed in there for you, that's for sure. The colors that you see in these photos, that's not enhanced. That's actually the color of the coin. Trey, I take mine with cream and sugar. Thank you. There we go. Here's a closer look at the coin. It's, for the most part, that's roll toning. But it goes around the edge, and then there's a spot from where the paper was folded over, right out in front of the date. It kind of, well, it is a double die. So that's something I didn't notice. So now we have a double die on our hands. And we currently have a double die going for, oh, $20. Here we go. You can see it there. I believe this is die number 3. Let me check the markers on it. Yeah, that's die number 3. You can see the you see pretty clearly the die scratches running through the G of God and through the O of God. So this is another DDO number 3. And not only is it a DDO number 3, it is a clipped planchet and a toner. Good thing we put it under the scope, huh? Now we're up to $50 on this one. There's $65. With that clip, this makes a very interesting coin, being that it's a relatively major double die and it is a very noticeable error coin. I can't believe I got through the process of photographing this, editing the photos, and getting it all together without noticing the doubling. This is one of those moments that becomes an embarrassing moment later on. I look back and realize that I almost sold a double die as a $1 clip. We've got buried 150 now. Trey, next time you skip out for coffee, maybe we'll come up with something else neat for you to look at when you come back. So now let's look at the whole coin again. There's the whole coin again, and yeah, I can actually see the doubling. Yeah, you think, Robert? I got this in a box full of error coins and never even looked at it for doubling. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this one. We got 1 more minute to make decisions on this one. Steve, if you're in Dallas, you've got dirt being delivered and it's dark. Poor guy. Well, the box full of error coins typically brings in things like laminations, clips, off centers, a few broad struck coins, maybe some partial color errors. Nothing really major generally. And so, oh, Dallas, Oregon. Okay. That makes sense. So yeah, usually we don't get anything really major in these. Yeah, it would be a full label for a slab. I want to see what this one comes back as. So Barry Johnson, thank you very much for your bids. Thanks everyone for participating and watching one of my most embarrassing bloopers. Now you got something to tell your friends. Hey, he runs double dice for auction and doesn't even know he's doing it. That was a nice coin. But let's move on to the next one. This one is a 2009 Philadelphia minted formative years Lincoln cent. It's one of the bicentennial issues, and as you know, the hand holding the book is doubled in a number of different cases. This one happens to be 2009 P1DR015. It's the 15th die listed at Coppercoins. And Kaneka listed it as the 11th die, so those two numbers cross to one another, one DR15 and DDR11. And we're going to get this one started with a $5 bid. It's been one of those days. Yeah, it would be fun for who? Fun for the whole family. Come and watch Chuck fumble through his coins. I'm having trouble with the lighting that I have bringing this up on screen, but I'm going to try. See if it'll come up on screen so we can actually see it. That's the biggest problem I have with this particular scope, is that I don't get enough magnification to see smaller things. See if I can run it down and get a little more magnification out of it. Maybe enough magnification, but the light may be too bright. Yeah, there it is. You can see it now. There's an extra little finger. It pops up right underneath the third finger at the bottom of the book. We've got a $5 bid on this item. This is an uncirculated. It is a choice to gem uncirculated coin. It is the 2009 Philadelphia issue, Formative Years LP2 Lincoln Cent of the bicentennial year. There were 4 different designs put out that year, and this is the second of the 4 designs. A transition back over. The photograph that I have in the middle of the light probably shows it just as well as I could possibly show it to you under this scope. I guess the scope is just a reassurance that I actually do have the coin here. No smoke and mirrors. It's really here. $0.25 gets you admission to see the Bearded Lady and Lincoln with 5 fingers and a thumb. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this one and get us going with 1 minute left. Robert has a $5 bid in on this. And for those of you who are not on Facebook, or you are on Facebook and didn't know I am, we have a nice Facebook page where we share all kinds of information. We have all kinds of fun and do giveaways and other nice and interesting things. You just go to Facebook and search for Coppercoins. Find us and like the page. We would much appreciate it. Looks like we're running out of time on this one. And there we go. And time. Thank you for your bids. Now move on to the next item. Here is yet another 1972 double die. This one is yet another really bright, beautiful, shiny coin. I'm going to start this one at $16. This is DDO number 8. It is one of the lesser double dies. There are 3 slightly lesser double dies, then you've got the major number 1. They used to call both die 3 and die 8 the type 3 double die because there was the type 1 that was really strong, then there was the type 2 that we've been through at the beginning of the auction, and then type 3. And the reason they called this one and die number 3 the type 3 is because the doubling on those 2 different dies is very similar to one another. And so at that point in time that they started naming this the type 3, they were unaware of the fact that this is actually a completely different die altogether. That fact was discovered by John Wexler a number of years ago, then published as a separate die. Then everyone started going through their type 3s to figure out which die they had. There are a number of nice markers on this to help differentiate between this and the die number 3. First being that the doubling is just a little stronger on this than on die 3. I'll transition over and show you. There's a nice double die here. Shows up on the date as well, and on Liberty. And if you look on the top of the first T of trust, you'll see a really small die gouge. They're headed right at the rim. That's your first clue. This is a die number 8, not die number 3. Your next clue, remember that nifty little die scratch that I showed you on the clip to determine that that was a die number 3? Die number 8 doesn't have it. So this is definitely a die number 8. It's a very clean coin. It's a very shiny, lustrous fields. Very few marks. Has a little spot on the coat there. Other than that, it's a really nice, clean, beautiful coin. The face is nice and clean. You can even see individual hair detail in the beard. Those aren't scratches. That's part of the detail on the coin. Some kind of coin we got going on here. Beautiful high quality 1972 double die. We've got a current bid of $65 from Bingo Bryan Productions. You guys are going to let him walk away with it for that price? This coin could easily be an MS66 red. I'm going to stop at 65 and just call it a gem. Let the winning bidder take the windfall when they get this graded and it comes back a 66 red. And it becomes a much more valuable coin. This one would actually be kind of rare in 66. Alright, we'll start the timer. Bidding has slowed down. You want to buy this coin. You want to buy this coin. We're down to under 45 seconds left. We've got a current high bid of $65. Now we have 75 and 90. I have under 15 seconds left to go. And Bingo Bryan Productions with a high bid of $90. Looks like we're getting close on time. And Amber calls time. Thank you, Bingo Brand Productions, for your high bid of $90. All right, let's clear this off and keep moving. How about that? 1966 quarter with a clip, and look at the Blakesley effect on the opposite side. We're just starting this one at $8. Really nice, obvious error coin on your second year of Clag quarters. Nice little curved clip up there, and look at all the weakness right around the clip. That's absolutely normal for this type of clip. This one's lot number 90. We're going to start it at $8. John Claggett has a bid of $12 in on this one. So you need to bid higher than $12 to keep this going. It's a 1966 Washington quarter with a straight clip error. Now, straight clips are a little less common than curved clips. As I think we've discussed this before, but I'll discuss it again. Straight clips come from the edge of the page of, well, sheet, they call it, not page, but the edge of the sheet of metal. You've got a sheet of metal that goes across, let's say, 8 blanks. And they start blanking out rows of blanks. And if the sheet is set too far to the left or too far to the right, those blanks end up getting cut at the edge of the sheet. And so there are round holes. Imagine a cookie cutter cutting round holes into a sheet of metal. Well, those round holes that are getting cut, if they get cut too close to the edge, then they cut off the edge of the sheet, and that's what you're seeing right here. And there's also such thing as a ragged clip. A ragged clip happens at the end of the sheet. It's where the sheet runs out and they keep cutting blanks, and a blank gets cut right over the ragged edge, or the end of the sheet. Let's go ahead and start the timer on this one. Is that who's contacting me on Hangouts? It's not Hangouts. It's actually Facebook Messenger. I guess I just need to shut Facebook altogether. There, we won't be hearing that anymore. Yeah, I don't have Hangouts even turned on. Now I've got Facebook turned off too. The girls know how to get a hold of me if they need me. Got less than 30 seconds left on this one. This is proof to you all that I'm not just copper. If I see an error I'm interested in, I'll run it. I like all errors. The significant ones, anyway. Die cracks don't do a whole lot for me, generally. And we have time. I appreciate it, John. Thank you for the bid. Gonna go ahead and clear the clock and move on to the next item. Here's a 1996 Philadelphia Mint quarter. Nice, bright, uncirculated coin that's off-center. This one I'd call probably about a 10 to 15% off-center. It's struck outside the retaining collar. That's how they get it off-center like this. Thus, there won't be any reading around the edge of the coin, because the collar was not present when this was struck. Hey there, HD Shovel Ed. I know exactly what that means. I'm a Harley guy myself. John Claggett starts this one off at $14. This coin, folks, is really shiny. It's bright, lustrous. It's beautiful. It's really nice. It's a very high grade error coin, I would call it. I could list as many CUDs as I can find. So far, it's been none. We got John Claggett at $14 on this item. Let's go ahead and start the clock. Let's get ready to rumble. I can try to find some CUDs, Robert. I don't know where I'm going to find them right now, but I can try to find some. Mr. Hooper is in town. Amber has CUDs. We will have CUDs in the next Variety and Error auction. Which, by the way, is a good subject to bring up right now. We go through 3 different subjects. And we rotate through those subjects every week. So this week is Varieties and Errors. Next week will be Singles. And a week after that will be Rolls and Lots. And then we go back to the Varieties and Errors again. I'm showing we're close to time on this one. And there we go. We've got time, and Paula Bloom wins at $15. Thank you, Miss Paula. All right, I'm going to stop the clock on this one and move on to the next item. Here is a 1987D Lincoln Cent with a nice little struck through area up above the date, and this is a very obvious one. Visible from a full arm's length. It's a nice little error, and I'm starting it at only $4. Gives you a really good chance to see one like this. Now this coin does have some browning to it, but it is a mint state coin. It doesn't have any wear on it. 1987 is also in the years that tend to have a real problem with zinc rot, and this one is not rotted. So this one's still in good shape. We have a $4 opening bid. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Have a $4 opening bid on this particular coin. These 87Ds, yeah, I tell you what, rolls of these things are tough to find. I don't know if you guys know it, but the 86D rolls are well over $20 a roll. And these things are tough to find these days, these mid-80s coins. Finding them with a nice little error like this, that's a little cherry on top. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this one. Well, Brian, there tends to be a slight difference between me and a good salesman. A good salesman will tell you anything except a bold-faced lie to get you to buy something. I just come right straight out with the truth. Makes it easy. I don't have to change my story later to keep up with it. Yes, 86D. If you look it up, 86Ds, anyone who's selling them, 86D rolls are over $20 a piece. Pretty much everything from 83 through 88 has elevated pricing simply because those coins did not come out the best of quality from the mint, and they did not last very well. And the ones that have lasted are really good. And we have time on this item. I appreciate your bid, Robert. Thank you very much. I'll move us on to the next item. Shay, you around? 1968 D half dollar. It's got a little bit of wear on this one. It's a nice AU coin. It has a clip. It's a relatively small clip. I'd say 5% thereabout. You can get this started at $12. Shay's in at $12. Mantic coins, $12. $12 bid. Get any other bidding on this one? Just as a point of interest, this happens to be my birth year. So if you've ever wanted something to remind you of your buddy Chuck, here's a 1968 half dollar. Yes, I am just a puppy. You already knew that, Paula. We've talked about that before when talking about the VA. And Mantic jumps back on the wagon at $14. Sherman was saying squeak squeak earlier, but he's in a different room and I've got the door closed. He's probably laying right outside the door right now wondering why Daddy's not letting him in. Yes, Miss Bloom, my birthday is August 1st. I was born in 1968. And I'm a whippersnapper. You know, the number of people who are actually kicking who can call me a whippersnapper is decreasing every day. Yes, I'm a Leo. Not that that really ever meant anything to me, but my mother is, as is my father. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock on this. You guys have had way too much of an overload of personal information about me today. And get back to doing coins. I don't know what being a Leo has to do with anything. But it does, I guess. You're born in 72. So I can call you a whippersnapper. Penny Parent, you're just a glint. You're just beginning to shine. You do realize, Penny Parent, that I am old enough to be your father. Barely. Looks like we're coming down and running out of time. And time. Yeah. Shumar, we don't even need to talk about how young you are. We have people my age dream about being that young again. Thank you for your bid, sir. Let me move on to the next item. We've seen grease-filled dies. Seen lots of grease-filled dies, but this thing is major. For a grease-filled die, this 1996 Lincoln Cent is a whopper. Basically, the only strong point on the entire coin is the W of we. We're going to open this one up at $5. That makes it a really inexpensive coin, and I'm sorry my photo is just a little dark on this. The coin is actually a pretty nice bright coin. And yes, we're about to get it out so we can look at it. As soon as I can locate it. Chuck's got jokes tonight. Chuck's getting used to being on a mic. again. Let's see if I can get this thing to a point where we can actually look at the whole coin without moving it around too much, so I get seasick. There we go. Now let me move over to it. There we go. Now you can actually see the date is 1996. And the Liberty is relatively weak on this, but look at the weakness in the face. You can barely read the word trust. But that W in we is right there, just as strong as you care to see it. Now, let me show you the other side. Normal. Looks like any other coin from a roll search. It's a close AM, as 1996 is. Notice how the A is a little bit shifted over to the right. Even if this coin was clicked off at the AM, I could still tell you it's a close AM, because the A is shifted to the right in states. Now I flip it back over. Still just a really nice coin. The little looks kind of like stripes running north and south all over this. That, I believe, is from the original rolling of the zinc. Then it was bathed in copper, and that of course is only 2.75% of the overall weight of the coin, which basically means it's simply an electroplate. Coin Dragon! Let's transition back over and take a look at the obverse and reverse of the coin again. And while we're over there, Barry Johnson turns in a $20 bid. This coin is a nice bright gem coin. You can't really tell it very well from the obverse because that luster that a coin gets is caused by the strike. When there's something impeding the strike, you're not going to get the luster. So when you look at this image of the coin, you see the reverse is a lot shinier than the obverse. There's your reason why. Because the luster is actually in the die, and the die has luster because of little molecules of steel moving outward, kind of like a rain on a windshield. And those lines that rain makes when it's moving out on the windshield is where you get your luster on a die. Well, when there's something sitting in front of the luster, keeping you from being able to see that luster, then the coin strikes up flat, just like this obverse. Go ahead and start the timer on this one. We've got Bingo Brian Productions at a $40 high bid. Thickness of the plating on post, 82 cents. Thinner than an ant's hair. It's an electroplating. It's really, really thin. If you cut a coin in half, you can't even see it as layers like you do a clag coin. Like you cut a clag quarter in half, you can actually see the copper in the middle and the nickel on the two sides. You wouldn't be able to see the thickness of the copper on a zinc cent if you cut it in half. Guess that's why they call it plating. And that is the difference between clad and plated coins. Yes, microns. Whereas Coin Dragon would say in his northern accent, microns. I gotta pick at him. All right, there we go. Congratulations, Bingo Brian Productions. You got yourself another coin. Clear the timer on this, and let's move on to the next item. Here's a 1988 off-center Lincoln cent. It's not very common that you find an off-center to this degree that actually shows the entire date. And then you have a 1988 that didn't rot into the ground. And you've got a starting bid at $6 on this. The 1988 Lincoln cents are very common for zinc rot and for other split plating issues, especially when you strike them off center. You get that split plating around the edge that rots. I have Kid Did Okay asking shifted. Shifted, no, not necessarily. Here's what happened with this. When you do a coin off center, instead of falling down inside the chamber and being struck as a normal coin, the coin is basically struck outside the coining chamber. So the edge or the collar was not around this coin when it was struck. And it was struck slightly off of the center point, which made all of the extra metal squish out toward one side. And that's where you get that little moon effect around the edge of the coin and missing detail on the other side. If this had been struck directly on center, then it would be called a broad struck coin, meaning that it would have extra rim going all the way around. Yes, I can talk about winners getting coin cards with their purchase. Thank you very much. And we're going to start a new special tonight. Very first time ever. I guess I should have probably said it before I got halfway through. But we are going to start with every $2 you spend, you're going to get a coin card up to a full set. So with every $2. So if you spend $180, you're going to get a full set. If you spend $120, you're going to get a full set. That's 60 cards. That's the entire first series. And yes, within another month or so, I'm going to start working on a second series. That way there will be 120 cards altogether. Thank you, Penny Parent, for the reminder. I knew you would like that. Your next box is going to have a set, but it's not for you. It's for your young man. I can keep the coins, just send the cards. Absolutely yay for Tyler. Go ahead and start the clock on this one. Looks like we've got John at an $8 bid right now. Amber, I'm not forgetting you. In the time that we have been working together on Coppercoins issues, so I've owned Coppercoins since 1999, and just within this year, I've picked up 3 people who have been very eager to help me with this business. We have Penny Parent, who is Jessica Johnson, Amber Pennell, and Brady Douglas. And the 3 of them have done a stupendously super job. And they make me happy to get up every morning and work. And I consider all 3 of them not my kids, but more my little sisters and brothers. I take care of them because they take care of me. And it looks like we've let time run out on this one. Thank you, Amber. And thank you, John, for your bid. You can go ahead and clear the timer and move on to the next item. Not that I'm being dismissive, but we have a show to run. Check this out. All you half-dollar fans, all you Bugs Bunny fans, this is a very obvious 1955 Franklin half-dollar Bugs Bunny error. If you like anything from $half to silver coins to Looney Tunes or coins in general, this one right here has got a story attached to it. Let me bring it up on my scope and show you just how nice those teeth look. Look at that. We got a big old buck-toothed Franklin half-dollar here. I actually do think he looks more like a vampire. But that is a very nice Bugs Bunny coin. A lot of these, when you see them, they turn out a little soft because they're later die state coins. This one is nice. This one's nice early die state. Now, some of you might wonder what causes that. How did that happen? Did they carve teeth into him? No. Here's how it happened. Watch the coin. Watch what happens when I flip it over. Right there. I wish I had Ken's toothpick. I don't have Ken's toothpick. I don't even have anything to point with. If you look at the eagle, look on the left side of the eagle. You see little feathers sticking down there. And those little feathers clashed into the obverse die because the obverse and reverse dies hit each other with nothing between. And those eagle feathers transferred over to Franklin's mouth area and gave him buck teeth. You can see a little bit of die transference error. Just a little tiny bit right there at the bottom of the eagle. You can see a little bit of that clash. That's the bottom of his nose and the top of his mouth. And this is a nice uncirculated coin. It's a nice BU coin. Let's go back over and take a look at Mr. Franklin again. I wonder what he would have said if he had ever known he was going to be on a coin with fangs. We've got Mantic out. We've got John Claggett out. Bingo Bryan Production is running this one at $30. And go back over and start the timer. Anybody needs to get their bids in, they need to do it within the next minute. Folks, I've seen these go a lot higher than $30. My starting bids are a suggestion of basically a low retail or high wholesale price. These coins are worth more than what I'm putting them up there at. And we got less than 30 seconds left to go. And we've got CM Silver at 32 with less than 10 seconds left to go. Bingo Bryan Productions come back at 40. And time. Thank you, Brian. Great shot, CM Silver. 900 silver. But Bingo Bryan wins this one at $40. Let's bring up the next item. Look at the colors. Oh my gosh, the colors on this coin. Looks like somebody spilled a box of melted crayons on this. It's a beautiful 1978 Jefferson nickel struck off center. Start this one off at $9. Steven bids $9 on this one. Really nice, sharp detail coin. And it shows that sort of a cup effect that you get sometimes when a coin starts to spread out from the edge. When it's being struck off center. This one barely made it off center. It's only about 5 or 10% off center, but boy, it's enough to make it a nice coin. And all those colors are realistic on this coin. I did not enhance this photograph at all. So you gotta find this little guy, and I'll stick him under the scope for you so you can take a look at him live. I'm going to start with the reverse. There we go. Take a look at that. Look at those colors. There's all kinds of pretty colors on this one. Okay, so if anybody wants to be reminded of Stephen Elliott, you get this coin because 1978 is his birth year. I was a Cub Scout in 1978. Let me flip this over and show you the other side. Ta-da! Look at that. Look at those colors. Looks like a starburst. A starburst in the night sky. Yes, I know, Penny Parent, you were not alive in 1978. Your parents were riding their bicycles in 1978. And I remember 1978. I was already going through rolls of wheat pennies in 1978. As I kind of remember it during that year, I started really paying attention to the penny rolls I was going through. And I can remember roughly bicentennial 1976 to 1977 is when I really started paying attention to what I was getting out of penny rolls. And at that point in time, I noticed myself getting anywhere between 5 and 10 wheat pennies per roll. I know a lot of people that would be very excited to get something like that these days. Alright, so bidding has slowed down. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock on this and give you one final minute to come in with your bids. $1878 was a fun year. No, brother, I wasn't there. I don't even remember Pearl Harbor. Heck, for that matter, I don't remember Kennedy's assassination. I wasn't around then either. Talk to me about Woodstock, though. I wasn't there, but I was alive. Sad day, the Kennedy assassination, definitely. Imagine it was about as sad as Lincoln's assassination, which you probably also remember. And we have time on this one. I appreciate the bids. Thank you very much. Looks like Will wins this at $16. Alright, let me reset the timer and move on to the next item. You got yourself a really nice nickel right there. Here's one that we don't see a whole lot of anymore. This used to be a really big thing. When the Susan B. Anthony dollars were finished off in 1999, a lot of people started realizing that there was a 1979 variety that they hadn't really paid that much attention to. Then we figured out that they were actually kind of scarce. And so this is the what we would call the near date or wide rim, 1979 Philadelphia minted Susan B. Anthony dollar. It was a change in the rim because they were having trouble with the dies and cracks in the edges of the dies because the rim was cut too wide, too close to the edge of the coin. So they changed to this near rim toward the end of the year. The 1980 and 1981 coins were all made like this. The 1979 coins were the first year, and so they made them with the narrow rim or the far date, and had problems with the minting and had to change them out. This is a Sacagawea dollar. They were issued from 1979 to 1981 for change, and then they were issued again in 1999 as a special coin. And that was because of a little faux pas in the congressional decision to start making dollar coins again. They decided that they were going to start making dollar coins in 1999, and the Sacagawea planchets were not ready yet. So they had to follow the law and make dollar coins. So they made dollar coins in 1999. They were these Sacagawea, these Susan B. Anthony dollars, and they already knew that they were a failure in commerce because so many people thought they were either half dollars or quarters, because they look very close to both of those coins, and they're made of clad, and they're just a little larger than a quarter and a little smaller than a half dollar. And Mystical Wolf comes in with a $7 bid, and John Claggett back up at 8. Hello, Mystical Wolf. This particular issue goes through basically a story of congressional faux pas. Because the coin originally was supposed to have 11 sides. Turns out they didn't have a really good way of making an 11-sided collar at that time, so they just made a regular reeded collar, made the inside of the rim 11 sides instead. Frank Gasparo designed this coin on the obverse side anyway. He also designed the reverse, I believe. And the obverse of the original design was supposed to be a flowing hair, Liberty. It was also supposed to be golden or copper in color at the time that he initially designed this in 1977. And they came back and decided that they needed the woman suffragist, it's a very difficult word for me to say, suffragist, Susan B. Anthony on the obverse, and the reverse is taken from the Eisenhower dollars that had been minted 2 years prior to this one coming out, or actually the year before. They stopped minting those in 78, started minting these in 79. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this. Give us 1 minute left to bid. In fact, during President Carter's term of service, which was from 1976 to 1980, they issued these, and people who were not necessarily on Jimmy Carter's side dubbed these things the Carter Quarter, because they were put together during his administration and everybody thought they were quarters. And so it turned out they made millions and millions of these coins that nobody wanted to spend. So as it turns out, they've been sitting in Fed Reserve vaults ever since. We're down to under 10 seconds left on this. If you want to get a bid in, get it in there quickly. And we've got one. Schumar comes in at $11. And time. Got time on this. Jeff Schumar wins at $11. Thank you, sir, for your bid. I'm going to kill the clock on this one and move on to the next item. Lot number 99 is a 1997 quarter with a clip. This is a relatively nice condition coin, and you can see the Blakesley effect going on the opposite side over there. You look on the left side of the reverse or the obverse and you see the clip. You look on the right side of either the obverse or the reverse in this image, and you can see a Blakesley effect or a weakness in the rim. Let's start this guy at $6. It's a 1997 Denver minted Washington quarter with a clip planchet. I guess I'd call this probably around a 5 to 10% clip. The larger the coin, the more scarce they are as clips, because they're more obvious. And the person stacking up that planchet hopper, getting ready to go in the minting chamber, can see clips like this if they're paying any attention at all, and they pull them out. So you don't see them very often. And with dimes and cents, they seem to be a little more common. Once you get up to quarters and half dollars, they get quite a bit more scarce. We've got Stephen Elliott at $6 on this one. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this one. Okay, so this is John's bid on this lot is $12. Okay. Stephen, I got a little confused. John bid $12 on this, so if you want to stay in, you'll have to bid higher than $12. Now we've got less than 15 seconds left. And we've run out of time. Thanks for your bid, John. Go ahead and reset the clock and let's move on to the next item. We've got quite a bit left. How about this little guy? This is a 1949 S Lincoln cent. Now what's interesting about this is that it is a class 3 design hub double die. What that means is that this particular coin was hubbed with a hub from 1948, and then it was hubbed with a hub from 1949. How do I know? Well, it's because there's that little point on the top of the 4. It's not supposed to be there. That is the hump that's on the top of the 4 from the 1948 design. Let me show you. I just happen to have a 48 up here. I did not plan on showing this slab at this point in time, so you're going to have to forgive my lighting. But here's a 1948. Let me get you a little bit closer so we can see this better. See how pointy that 4 is? It's a nice little rounded point at the top. Now, let's take a look at our coin that we've got up for auction right now. And I'll get it focused in. And the 4 for the 1949 is supposed to have a flat top. So the part that you see below the little point is actually supposed to be the top of the 4. Get this into a place where I can zoom in a little bit better. There it is. So you see that thing going straight across the top of the 4? That should be the top of the 4. But the top of the 4 actually goes further up because this was hubbed with a 1948 hub first. Looks like right now we've got Kid Did Okay at $9. Let me flip back over to the picture of the coin so you can see the obverse and reverse and see that this is it's a pretty nice AU coin. It does have just a touch of luster left on it. I had somebody ask me about these last week and I couldn't find one at that time to show. Here I find one. I go ahead and stick it in the auction. These are rather difficult to locate. You go through rolls of 1949S Lincolns and you might find 1, 2 out of every 400 or 500 coins. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this. Brady, you watch this time. Got just about 30 seconds left to make a decision. Get in on this one if you can. Folks, don't forget that because our Coppercoins.com email doesn't seem to be working right now, that you'll need to send your information to coppercoinspayments@gmail.com to bid. We'll get it fixed soon. And time called. Time was called. Kid Did Okay has a bid of $20 in before the time ran out. I appreciate your bids. Thank you very much. I'll reset the timer and move on to the next item. We have what's known as a BIE error, or a BIE error. And what this is, it's a die chip that happens in a weakness in the die, and it breaks a piece of the die out between the B and the E of Liberty, leaving what remains to appear as a BIE. Now, these are collected and cataloged, and it's one of few die chips that actually is cataloged. Mystical Wolf, all you have to do is refresh your browser and come back, and your lag will be resolved. And for anyone who happens to be lagging behind the timer, you can refresh, come back in, and you won't miss anything. It does look like a bow tie. These come in many different shapes and forms, and the ones that are obvious, like this one, they generally sell for a few dollars. They're a very interesting conversation piece. They're fun to collect because they're relatively difficult to find. You have to wait for a die to break before you can collect these. Trying to get a start at $3 on this one. And with no opening bid, I'll give a few more seconds, then we'll pass. Bingo Brian Production gives us a Well Hell 3. And everybody comes in. Bingo Brian, you definitely have the attention of the floor right now. Let's go ahead and start the timer on this one. We are at lot 101. There are 20 lots left to go. It's kind of what I was thinking. Are you going to remember me in the morning? I hope so, because you'll have a box of coins headed your way. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and knock this one in the head. Thank you for your bid, sir. Oh, Art Reen gets in at $5 right before time ends. Art Reen gets this one at $5. I'll be sure I go through the drawers and pull out more stuff before I send that bill. He won't know. Let's go ahead and clear the time on this one and move on to the next item. This one, folks, is a tough one. And this one is also a real nice one. In this particular die state, which is an early to mid die state, the D below the D shows really nicely on this 1956 DRPM number 8, which is also FS 508, and it is also 1956 D1MM008. It is a repunched mint mark or a misplaced mint mark, whichever way you want to say it. And you can see, if you look at the 4 arrows and look inside the 4 arrows, there are all of the remnants complete of a D mint mark sitting in there. And I can tell you, often these are missed because people don't know to look below the mint mark for the doubling. This is one of very few Lincoln Cent issues with a mint mark that's completely removed from the primary mint mark. If I could speak English today. Got the voice for it, kid, but you can't talk. I get the awesome sauce from Penny Parent. This is awesome sauce, people. We currently have a $20 bid on this nice, extremely fine to AU coin. A little tiny bit of corrosion here and there. Let's get this one out and take a look at it, because it's purty. And I'm not going to bore you with the details of my getting the camera set up. I'll get it set up while you're looking at the picture you're looking at now, and then when I change, you'll be able to see what I'm looking at. This is oh so hard to bring up with this little scope. Well, I just barely can see it. trying to tilt it and everything just to get the right perspective. Alright, that's about as close as I'm going to get it. You can see the D underneath. I'm trying to hold it really still and try to get it in good focus. But I can tell you this photograph that I took just shows it so much better, because it's kind of a shadow of a mint mark, and under direct lighting like the Dynoscope does, Dynolight, it doesn't catch shadow mint marks well at all, because you need that side lighting for the shadows, and when you're lighting directly from above with a ring light, it makes those shadows completely disappear, making the digit very difficult to see. And we've got a current bid of $20 on this. If anybody wants to move the bid up, I'm going to go ahead and start the clock. You got 1 minute left to throw a bid up there if you want to get this coin. These things are tough. You get these into uncirculated condition, they're over $100. And a lot of the ones that sell in unk don't show the D as nicely as this, simply because it's a later die state, and the D, the top of the D becomes more obvious and the bottom of the D almost completely disappears. So in this die state, it's a really nice coin because you can see the entire D. I didn't have to work extra hard to get that to show up like that either. It kind of popped out when I showed it under my microscope. I use a little bit of a tilted ramp that tilts the coin toward the light. Makes them show up really nice. Got less than 10 seconds left on this for you to get a bid in there. And it looks like Hidden stole this one for $20. Robert, just a little bit on the slow side there, buddy. It's really hard to snipe when you're doing YouTube because YouTube actually has a little bit of a lag. Bingo, you missed the best one while you're up getting your beer. Let's move on to the next item, see if we can get bidder on this one. Here we go, a 1934 D double die obverse number 1. And this is a relatively nice coin too, especially for a 34 D. That's a pretty old one. A rum and coke. I hope it's good rum. Try Vizcaya. Vizcaya, really good rum. This is lot number 103. Now remember to subscribe and like this video, because if you subscribe, you're going to get a reminder to come back next week, next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the singles auction, in which I have a number of earlier proof coins from the 50s. I have a 1940 proof cent. I have a lot of high grade, we're talking MS 66 and 67 graded Lincoln cents going back into the 30s. We've got an $18 bid going on this one. Bingo, if you want to win, there you go. You have to go up $1. There you go, $19. And Penny Parent shows bingo at $19. Use a straw so you're not taking up a hand. Well, that Coke will hit your diabetes hard, that's for sure. There you go. Coke and not Pepsi. Guy's got to have his flavor. we got Kid Did Okay. You need to come up above 19, buddy. Bingo Brian Productions currently has the bid at $19. These coins back when I first started selling these. Barry, you have a great night. These particular double dies, the 1934D DDO number 1, when I first started selling these things, they were going for $50, $60 a coin. They've since become just a little more common. They're a little easier to find these days. So the price has settled down just a little, but $18 is definitely a really low start. Now we've got a current bid of $21 at Kid Did Okay. Barry, you're welcome back here anytime, brother. And Bingo Brian Productions is out. Let me get you another shot of rum there, brother. Kid Did Okay is up at $21. We're going to start the timer on this one. Brian, this is a double die. You want this coin. You got less than 30 seconds left to think about it. That means you should head towards your keyboard now. That's right, listen to the voices. Hidden numismatist. Yes, I can hold the package for you. Robert Adams up to $22. Did we get it before time? We did. And Robert gets it right before time's called at $22. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the bid. And that's how sniping is done. Take the timer down and move on to the next item. And here we have yet another double die. Brian, this is a double die, buddy. It's a 1951D double die outburst number 1. Not common at all. And we're going to start this one off at $15. $15 bid will get you started on this one. I'm pulling it out now so we can take a look at it. And Bingo Brian seriously outbids himself twice. Thank you, sir. I think he figures this is going to go nuts after I show the actual coin under the scope. Which is probably the case. I just got to get the right angle before I'm going to switch it over. But I will switch it over and show it to you. This lighting is not easy to deal with. And Amber, I saw that you sent me a picture of it. The problem is I don't even know where those are right now. I'll have to find them, do some more experimenting before I come back on the air. Okay, this is about as close as I can get. Have a great night, Shumar. Let's see what we can do about finding the doubling on this. It's not so hard when you're looking at it under a microscope. When you're looking at it with this, it's a little more difficult. But do you see all that extra thickness around the W and the stem of the E? See how the R is extra thick to the sides. You can see that little notch on the top of the U of trust. There's your doubling, folks. It does show all the way through the letters, but you gotta have that special angle and hold your tongue out just right to see it. And unfortunately in this lighting it's a little more difficult. Brian, hold the screen closer than 2 feet away. Stick your nose in it if you have to. Can we see it there? We can go back over to the image of the coin so you can see that and see that the entire obverse and reverse are nice and clean. And this is a rather nice coin with good luster. It's a brown colored coin. Do we have an opening bid on this one? Don't think we have the opening. We do have the opening bid. That's right. Brian, I need your rum, brother. I'm falling a bit under the brain weather here. I'm getting foggy. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock on this one. If nobody else bids, Brian's going to take it at 16. But he has a standing bid of 18 in, so you have to bid above 18. That's how this works. You get it at your lowest successful bid. That's actually kind of what I'm thinking too. This coin, generally these things sell for between $25 and $35 a piece in this condition. But I like to start them cheap. Keeps the interest factor up. And it looks like we're about to run out of time. And Robert bids 20. And Amber calls time. Robert wins this one at $20. Congratulations. I'm going to pull time, move on to the next item. Now this, folks, is an interesting little coin because of all of the 1960D repunch mint marks known, this one happens to be the newest of all of them. This is 1960D 1mm 174. There are, no joke, 174 repunch mint marks for 1960D. And I'm going to start this one off at $3. Be one of the first to own the 1960D 1mm 174. This is a new listing on Coppercoins. Bingo Brian Productions bids $5 on this one. Yes, Penny Parent found this one. Penny Parent has one of these, I do believe, as do I. And we currently are the only two who own one of these dies. And now Bingo Brian Productions has a bid in to own his own. And Bingo's at $5 on this one. She is an RPM beast, but I seen her first. Okay, what I see Amber saying is that she is square. Hello, Marty Hoyt. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this one. You want to get a bid in, get it in now. So Amber is using the square emoji. Brian, I'd say you're probably sitting in your living room, probably, sipping on a rum and coke, laughing at everything around you. John Claggett bids 8, and Bingo Brian throws a $10 bid in. This voice is going to follow you. John Claggett is out. Robert gets a bid in at $12. Right before time. So Robert gets a $12 bid in right before time. Thank you, Robert. You are now the third owner of a 1960D 1mm 174. Clear out time. Move on to the next item. Congratulations. This is a 1955 S repunch mint mark. It's Kaneka repunch mint mark number 5. It's Coppercoins listed repunch mint mark number 9. And it's a relatively nice coin. It's got a really nice reverse. It's got a few spots on the obverse. But these folks are not very easy to find because they're not very obvious. It's a relatively minor repunch mint mark. But I'm starting this at $4. You can hardly find a 1955S in a shiny red condition for $4, so I'm not really charging you much of anything for the repunch mint mark. You're just getting something else for your collection and a hole to fill. Which is always fun when you're collecting because I hate empty holes in albums. This is lot number 106. And we have simultaneous $6 bids. Actually, Bingo Brian Productions got in first on my live chat, and then Bill Betts came in second. So, Bill, you'll need to increase that bid. Nope. Now Bingo Brian goes to 8. Hidden Numismatist at 9. They're neck and neck coming round the bend on turn 4. See if we can toss a little bit more variable into this. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. You guys keep fighting. 59 seconds left to make that decision. Hidden Numismatist has it at $9. I'm showing less than $45. I meant to say seconds. I was reading Bingo Brian's message. I will go negative $250. Oh, he's at $13 now. Makes a $13 bid. Hidden Numismatist is out. Numismatist is kind of a difficult word to say sometimes. It looks like we're about to run out of time. Yeah, right? It's like deoxyribonucleic acid. It's DNA, people. Don't need to say it. I appreciate it, Bingo. Thank you very much for the bid. $13 bid on that coin. I'm going to clear out the timer and move on to the next item. Here's another repunch. Actually, this one is a double die. This is double die number 3. See that really fat leg on the 9? These are actually kind of scarce. Even though they're not very obvious, they're pretty scarce, and they're not easy to find at all. I'll get this out here in a minute, show it to you. See the doubling a little bit better when you're looking at it in person rather than in a photograph. That photograph did not turn out the best in the world. Now I've got this one starting at $25 because these are very scarce. If you look this up on Variety Vista, you will find out that this value is not a stretch. And I'm going to click over to my Dino Light digital microscope. I need to start selling voice ad spaces on this program. Did I say that? Look at that. Look at that 9. See how fat that thing looks at the bottom down there? See the doubling at the bottom of the 9? This is indeed a double die. There are 3 double dies, 3 double die obverses known for 1960D. One of them is the 1960D small over large date with the RPM number 100. Another one is a class 1 double die that shows doubling in In God We Trust. And then there's this one that shows this doubling in the date. So get me a start at $25. Anybody in for $25 on this one? If not, we'll pass in a couple of seconds. And pass. Mark lot 107 as no sale. And let's move on to the next item. How about that? We've already sold one of the nicest repunch mint marks known in the wheat sense, but now this is the strongest repunch mint mark known for memorial sense. You can even see the doubling in the mint mark easily just by looking at the photograph of the obverse of the coin, which happens to be a pretty nice looking coin. It has that one spot below the N of 1. It otherwise is a very clean, uncirculated coin. Now for added effect, kind of like they put the extra thunder in the movies, I'm going to attempt to stand on my head and show you this coin under the scope. Well, I'm not really standing on my head, but I am going to show you this coin under the scope as soon as I can get it lined up. Would you take a look at that, boys and girls? There it is. See if I can get this focused in just a little bit better. There you go. This is a sweet coin. You want this coin. The rarity on this. This particular repunch mint mark is not very rare. It's kind of scarce. It happens to be one of the ones featured in the coin cards. Whoever gets this, I'll make sure that they get the coin card that matches this particular coin. I believe there are probably I'm going to say 100 to 200 of these out there that I know of. There could be more, but they don't come up for sale very often. There, Penny Parent just put up the link for coin cards so you could go take a look at the program and see what it looks like. We now have 60 different coin cards available. Within a couple of months, there will be 120 because I'm going to do a whole nother series. Let's go back to the lot and I'm going to start the timer. Get us started on the timer. We're falling behind on time, so I'm going to have to move a little bit quicker. Thank you, Bingo Brian. We've got just under 30 seconds left to go. And I'm showing a $46 bid by Stephen Elliott. And Amber calls time. Sniped it right at the last minute, just as you were taking another sip of that rum and coke. I'll pull the timer on this and let's move on to the next item. Congratulations and thank you, Stephen. Now we have a 1957D 1DO003. This is Kaneka Double Diaburst number 9. It shows doubling in the ERTY of Liberty. I've got this one showing starting at $12. I made a little bit of a mistake. I probably meant to start this around $5, so let's do that. Let's start this at $5. Anybody want to get it going at $5? Good night, Bingo Brian. Thank you for your bids. We'll get you an invoice out. By the time you get over your hangover, you'll know about it. Have a great night, brother. Yes, sir. Another email. Okay, I'll take a look at it. Sounds great. Thank you. Let me go ahead and start the timer on this. We've got John Wolf at $5 on this item. And we've got less than 45 seconds left to go. I think Bingo Brian is falling into Neverland. Looks like he became Daffy Duck right there at the very end. And as we're running down on time here on lot 109, we'll get the time called. Congratulations, John Wolf. Or no, actually Paul Bloom comes in with a $6 bid. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Robert. Penny-shaped aspirin. I think they're already penny-shaped. I don't have a whole lot of work to do to go there. All right, let me reset the timer on this and move on to the next item. Here's a 1970D double die. This is DDO number 2. This is a nice double die, and not only is it a nice double die, but it's on a very nice coin. This coin is a very clean, very nice coin with a lot of luster. Let me pull back on this one and start this at $5 as well. Anybody want this at $5? Let's get it started at $5. I need $5 to get this one started. I'm confusing penny parent because I have $10 on the lot and I just decided to move it down to $5. John Claggett gets a bid of $5 in. So I wonder how many bidders we've got left here. And go ahead and start the clock on this one. Seems that there's only one bidder at the moment. If you want to get in on this one, you'll need to get in the next 49 seconds. This is lot number 110 of 121. And we're beginning to run low on time. Does anybody want to bid over? Okay, there's $7 for our ring. And John comes back in at 8. Paula comes in at 8. But John had the first bid at 8, and we call time. So John Claggett wins this one at $8. Congratulations, sir. I'm going to clear the timer and move on to the next item. Here's another BIE error, or buy error, whatever you want to call this, or how you want to call it, but this one is on a very nice 1954S Lincoln Cent. Nice one from an original roll. Not very common that you see these this nice and bright. And get this started at $7. That's pretty much the value for a 1954S Cent in this condition. We've got trades on the floor. Security, security, we've got trades on the floor. This is a really nice 1954S mint cent, and this one happens to have a buy error. Looking for an opening bid at $7. And give you another couple of seconds, then we'll call this one. And we've got a bid from John Wolf for $7. Thank you, sir. Kid did okay at $9. I'm going to go ahead and hit the timer on this one and get it started. For sure, people, if you like my auction, show me some love. Give me a like. I would definitely appreciate it. Art says he has it, but he can't find it to make sure. There's only one way to be sure that you have it. I call this little guy the prairie dog buy, because if you look at it, it looks like a prairie dog looking to the right, poked up out of his hole. We're starting to run low on time. And Art gets it in the nick of time. $12 bid before Amber calls time on that. We sold that one at $12 to Art Ring. Thank you, sir. And let's move on to the next item. He's got that timing thing down for sure. Here's another buy error. This one's on a 1955D. Now this one has a little bit of a fingerprint issue, but it's still a nice shiny bright red coin, and it has a buy on it. Let's start this one at $5. We'll kill that $7 opener and just start it at $5. Whoever wants it at $5 can put a bid in and get it started. This is lot number 112, now open for bids. Gonna give it a few more seconds to get a $5 open. Then we'll pass on to the next one. And let's mark this one as a no sale and move on. Next item up for bids is this 1967 Jefferson nickel error. It has a partial color strike. It has a railroad rim. I'm going to show you what that means if I can get this scope to behave. What happened is this planchet was sitting partially inside and partially out of the collar when it was struck. And what that does is it creates a rim that kind of looks like what you would expect to see on a railroad car. So we call it our railroad rim. This part of the rim that you see here that stands out more was actually outside of the collar when this coin was struck. And the part that's smaller was inside the collar. So you've got a little bit of pancake smashing going on the obverse. And then the reverse is pretty much normal. And this goes around, oh, say probably half the circumference of the coin, maybe a little bit more. And in some parts, the part that was inside the collar gets thinner, and in some parts it gets thicker. And the coin itself is a nice uncirculated coin, even though it has very little detail, which is very common for 1967 nickels. And that's what we've got. Partial color strike, railroad rim, 1967 nickel. Running this at $5. We've got a John Claggett bid at $5. Anybody else want to bid $5 or a bit above $5 on this item? I'm going to go ahead and start the timer now. You got 1 minute to make a decision. Those partial color errors are actually a little difficult to find because a lot of times they will make the coin just a little larger than is supposed to fit through the riddlers to go into bags to be rolled. And so a lot of these will actually reject at the mint, and they'll never make it into, or they'll either reject at the mint or they'll reject while they're being counted at the bank or Fed Reserve, wherever they're at. And they don't end up actually making it into circulation. We're under 30 seconds left on this item. And I show we're running close on time. And time. Looks like John has this one at $5. Congratulations, John. I'm going to clear the clock out and move on to the next item. Here we go. Now this one is circulated, which surprises me in itself, but it happens to be one of the tougher dates to get of Washington quarters of recent time. The 1983 Philadelphia issue is actually rather difficult to come by. And when you get it on an error like this, which is a nice cupped up off-center strike, you end up with a real talker, real talking piece. A very nice coin. It does have a bit of a dig next to the U in United along the rim, but I believe there was some chance that that could have happened by the feeder finger at the mint because the coin was out of shape. Not that it wasn't getting its exercise, but that it was out of round. And you'll notice that that area of damage occurs directly opposite the out of round area, which gives me the hint that it was probably done at the mint as the coin was being placed into the area where it would be bagged. Now, why are you just uneducated, Art? Are you learning about errors as we go along? Looks like we've got a John Claggett $20 bid. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this and see if anybody wants it more than he does. It's a bid higher than $20. You got 1 minute left to make that decision. And we're down to about 30 seconds left on this one. And it looks like we're getting close to time. John Claggett's got a $20 bid in. And we've got Paula Bloom in at the last minute with a $22 bid. Thank you very much, Paula. I will clear the time and move on to the next item. Here we have a 2007 Washington statehood quarter. So this is a Washington obverse, Washington reverse. Haha. And this one has a partial color strike, just like that nickel did. Pay attention, Art. Watch this. See that? You only got half the reading. Half the reading tells us that half the color was in existence when this was minted. You have a nice flat coin that comes around. You get some of that color action going on there. That's what held it into the rim. And then your reading disappears again. And this part was struck out of color. I'm going to go backwards and go back to the part. I'm trying to keep it in focus here too. Go back to the part that was struck in color. And that's about as thick as the color gets on that. It is a nice coin. It's been through just a touch of circulation, but it still has full luster on both sides. And this one was minted for the Evergreen State, Washington. You can see where that partial color thing happens there. You can see that lower area was struck within the color, and that upper area was struck outside the color. We're up to a $12 bid from John Claggett on this one. Alright, my hand's cramping. And we've got John Claggett at $12 on this one. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer. You got 1 minute left to make a decision on whether you want this one more than he does. You can indeed check out my store at lincolncent.com, and within the next week I hope to be able to accept credit cards directly on the website during checkout. Working on that process as we speak. Mantic, I appreciate you showing up, brother. Mrs. Mantic will be happy you did not spend the entire bank account this time. Next time I ship to you, I think I'm going to ship in a large box. Get you in trouble for just a second. It looks like we have time on this one, and John Claggett gets it at $12. Congratulations, John. Here's the next item up for bids. This is 1944D Lincoln Cent with a nice struck through on it. Now, this one could possibly be a lamination, but when I was looking at it, I didn't see the telltale marks of a lamination. I saw struck through. And what tells me it struck through, and it could be a lamination peel. I don't know. Let's look at it. Let's figure this one out. Either way, $3 is a decent opener on this. There's your error. And what I was looking at was up on Lincoln's face, where it looks like there's a soft edge to the whole thing, and that would indicate a struck through. However, when you look down toward the date and toward the rim, you can see kind of where that piece of metal was torn off. That looks a lot more like a lamination peel. So I'll let you decide. I'll just call this the 1944 Lincoln Cent with something going through Lincoln's head, and let you decide what it is. I believe it's a lamination, though. Either way, it's rather dramatic. We have a bid of $3 on this one. Address for money orders. And you can send it to my name. That's P.O. Box 542603, Green Acres, Florida 33454. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer on this one. And we've got John Claggett at $5 currently. Hidden Numismatist is out, thank you. Do we have any other bidders on this one? With no other bidders, John Claggett will take it at $5. Sale, say ye now or forever, this coin will belong to John. And it looks like we're going to run out of time. There's time called by Amber. And John wins at $5. Appreciate it, John. Thank you very much. I'm going to move on to the next item. We have a 1960D repunch mint mark number 2. It's a very nice Lincoln cent, very nice repunch mint mark. This one is a gem coin. We're going to start this one off at $4. This one is second in strength in the 1960D repunch mint mark series. The number 1 that sold earlier in the auction was the strongest, and this one is the second strongest. It's a very strong repunch mint mark. I'm going to start this one off at $4. Any interest at $4? Opening bid. I'll give it just a few more seconds and then I'll close it off. And let's pass on this one. Move on to the next item. This one is a 1957D repunch mint mark number 8. There's a few little minor fleck marks here and there, some little issues, but frankly the coin didn't photograph as nice as the actual coin looks. I'll stick it under the scope here and give you a good look. Here's what the coin looks like. You can see it's got a few little pickles here and there, but overall it's a pretty nice bright red coin. I'll flip it over and show you the reverse. It didn't smile very well for the camera. There's a lot of the things that appear to be spots on the coin really aren't. It's actually a pretty decent coin. It's a nice MS64. Let me flip it over. Show you that side again. We need Sherman to squeak for bids. Sherman is very likely taking a break from sleeping right now. He's probably taking a nap. Go ahead and show you that again. So we got any bids at $7? No bids at the opener, $7. We will go ahead and pass and move on to the next item. And we have a 1958D double die. This is DDO number 1. I'm waiting. We got Art. Was that bid on lot 118? Okay, he'll get it at the $7. Okay. All right, so let's go on with lot 119 now. Thank you, Art. His lag is causing him to bid too late. Art, refresh your screen. Make sure that you're up current with us on time. Let's go take a look at this double die right here. This is actually a pretty nice one. The reason for it is because I often tend to look in other places to see that a double die is a double die, because double dies often show in more than one spot. And we can see, if you look at the top of the 9, you'll see that little hook on the top of the 9. That's your number 1 pickup point right there. But there's more. If you swing over here, the very bottom of the B in Liberty is also doubled. And it's going to be a little difficult to show you, but it is there. Let's see if I can actually get it to focus in like this. Okay, you can see just a little tiny bit of a ridge line at the bottom of the B. That is actually a second B sticking down below the first one. Yes, that's okay, Penny Parent. Go ahead and put him down. Thank you, Art. As you can see, it's a little bit difficult to see with this lighting, but I promise you, if you put it under a loop, you're going to see that B. You're going to see that doubling. Try moving back away from it just a little bit to see if maybe getting a little more light will show it better. Perhaps, maybe. Yeah. It tends to not show in this type of lighting. Which is really kind of strange, because it shows up very nicely under a regular microscope with regular lighting. And you can see the top of the 9 pretty well if you've got it flipped around the right direction so the light shines on it. And so this one we're going to start at $8. It's lot number 119. Got 2 lots left. Pretty nice red coin. Now you can see that B right there. Barely, but you can see it. It's a little light spot at the bottom of the B. That's actually the entire bottom of the B is doubled. And if there's no interest, I'll pass on this and move on to the next one. And so we'll pass on this one. We'll move on to lot number 120. Lot number 120 is a really nice 1955 D repunch mint mark. This one is a very nice example of a tilted repunch mint mark. It's basically 2 mint marks mixed together, where if you look at the doubling, the lower doubling on the top serif belongs to the upper doubling on the bottom serif, and vice versa. So the serif that sticks out on top sticks out above on the bottom is the one that's down below on the top, and the one that sticks out above on the top is down below on the bottom. So it's basically 2 mint marks that are tilted in opposite directions, punched basically on top of one another. That's what a tilted repunch mint mark is. Often your single serif repunch mint marks, like your lower serif splits, are going to be a tilted repunch mint mark. It's not very often that they show really well on both serifs like this. And this one is RPM number 11. You can't do much better at $9. See if we get any interest at $9 on this one. And if not, we'll close this one out and move on to the last lot. Tick, tick, tick. And thank you again, and we will move on to the final lot for the night. This is lot number 121. This is a 1951D over mint mark number 1. Now, this particular example shows the S very nicely if you know where to look. Now, if you look just on the left side of the upper part of the mint mark, you'll see the top curve of the S. And then if you look under the D mint mark on the right side, you'll see the bottom curve of the S. And then directly under the lower serif of the D, you'll see the lower serif of the S. Wake up, people. We got this one starting at $12. This is probably a $40 coin right here. It's in really great shape. Need a $12 opening bid on this one. John Claggett starts this one off at $12. What's the matter, Frank? Did I wake you up? John Claggett's $12 bid will stand if nobody else comes on top of it. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock on this one. Folks, this is a really difficult coin to let go at $12. This is a really nice one. Of course, I kind of expected to be done close to an hour before now. We got 14 Wild Bill's Hobbies. Coin Dragon, you seeing that S underneath that D? You can actually see the curve go all the way through the D. You can see the top curve up above, and then you can see the straight stem going through at a diagonal through the D, and then the lower curve coming out the right side of the D. You don't often see this particular over mint mark that well defined. John bids 15. I wish the coin were uncirculated in red. It would be a very valuable coin. But because it's a XF to AU coin, I just keep it at a relatively low bid. And we're running out of time. And we had time called, and Art Ring is high bid at $16. Thank you, Art. You got a steal of a coin there. It's a beautiful one. And with that, we're going to wrap up, and this is going to be the end of bidding. I appreciate all you guys coming out tonight. And for those of you still watching, which some of us aren't, some of us went to bed and are going to watch the replay later. So when you do get the opportunity to watch the replay, remember that we are going to have another auction next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And that particular auction, I'm going to have these. And there's also a number of proof coins. I've got 1940 proof Lincoln cent. I've got a 1950, 52, 53, 54. I've got a lot of proof cents. I've got proof dimes. I've got proof quarters. Hidden Numismatist, I will send you an invoice through PayPal, and you can pay the invoice that I send you through email directly from the email. Yes, ma'am, you may. Post the QA. And I can't is it Thursday, right? I can't remember what day of the week it is. Paula, go ahead and post it so that everybody can see it. There we go. Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Time on Blues Coins channel. You look up Blues Coins. If you have coins that you want to ask questions about, make sure you photograph both sides of the coin and you show us nice clear images of both sides of the coin. John Wolf, you did win, at least one or two, right? And during that show, Q&A, or actually before the show, Q&A at 8:30 Eastern Time on Thursday, you can send your images to checkmycoin@yahoo.com. and then join Blues Coins channel, 8:30 Thursday, 8:30 Eastern, and there will be a panel of coin experts waiting to answer your questions on the air with your photos so that everybody can remember and learn from your coins. Yeah, the drawer missing behind me, I pulled it out before the show started so I could show people what my inventory looks like. And this is it. It's sitting here right next to me the whole time. Kid did okay. Send me an email and we'll discuss what happened there. I'm not really sure, but there's my email address, cd@coppercoins.com. Yeah, that's one drawer. That's one drawer, and there's 29 more sitting over there. And then I've got another 2 cabinets coming in that'll hold 50 drawers apiece. Hang on, Art, okay? There you go. It's all in place. Yeah, don't say that too loud around my wife because she calls me a cent hoarder too. Only she says, go play with your pennies. I'm tired of you today. Or, instead of cooking dinner, what did you do? Play with your pennies? Ken needs a cabinet. Ken probably needs a cabinet. More than one. I don't know. Each of these cabinets, I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8,000, about 6,000 coins will fit in it. Art, you have a good night, brother. I'll hang around if anybody has any questions they want to ask or if they've got any comments they'd like to make about the show or about anything related. Go right ahead, I'm right here. Yeah, go get lost and play with your pennies. Trust me, I've been there a lot of times. Paula, you have a good night. Do the drawers lock? No. This is a library card file. They didn't ever plan on having anything valuable in it. I might actually get those out at another auction. I still have some posters left. I don't have any short lists on me right now. I'll have to get the files out and work on trying to reprint those. Your wife buys you coins to go get lost? Mine won't. Mine never buys me coins. In fact, she doesn't like pennies at all. She likes quarters. So when I get quarters and change, I have to give her my quarters. What do I get in return? Her shiny pennies. What a deal. What I really need to do is find a really nice double die and show it to her out of the coins that she gives me and tell her that her quarter was well worth the money. What did Hidden ask? Does your purchase get you a card? Of course your purchase gets you a card. It'll get you a stack of cards. Lot number 1. Which lot number 1? Are we talking about lot number 1 from tonight? Which will be lot number 76? Thank you, Art. I appreciate that. Do I shrink wrap individuals? No, not individual coins. You have to get rolls for that to happen. Or group lots like I sent you before. Your beef jerky. She brought you home a roll of silver quarters and called them steel. Oh, for shame. Lot number 1, the Indian head. Ah, yes, was a very nice looking lot. Did you win that one? I'm not sure. I don't remember who took that lot. That was weeks ago. I've done a couple of deals since then. I Nobody gives me coins to go through anymore. They think I have them all. And frankly, I guess I probably do. So it's like, most of the time, a hobbyist has things on a list that family members can get for their birthday or for Christmas or whatever. Nobody dares buy me anything with something to do with coins. I have to buy it myself because nobody really knows what I want, what I need, or anything else. And well, frankly, this is this is a business to me. And given that it's a business, I prefer a more personal gift. Yeah, I'm sorry you did miss that whole first auction. 20 rolls of 60D. I appreciate that. Now I've got the idea who Steve in Dallas is. Man, that just hit me. I guess I'm tired today. Of course I know where Dallas is. Dallas, Oregon. Yeah, that 31S was a really nice coin. Sometimes that's the hardest part about being a dealer is that you buy stuff, you need to sell it because you can't have your money tied up because you need to have it open in case something else comes along that you need to buy. So when you sell stuff, you end up remembering what you've sold and you kind of want it back sometimes. And that happens on occasion. On occasion, I do wish I had done something different with some of the coins that I've sold. But hey, there will be more. They come along. Coins come and go. Yelling no at you. Let me talk to her. John, I don't have a personal collection. That's everything I have here is for sale. Now I do have I have a collection of all of the different die varieties of the Lincoln Cent. That it's not full, it's not complete, but it's all of the different ones that I've had a chance to keep after examining them and photographing them for the website coppercoins.com. So I have a reference set, you might call it. So that's basically my book on steroids because I like to have the actual coins to look at in case I get sent one that's damaged or doesn't have all the markers I would be looking for. And then I get the coin out and actually compare coin to coin without having to lean on photographs. So that started back when I first started dealing with trying to write a reference on Lincoln Cents, and it's continued ever since. So I've got roughly 4,000 coins in books that I use as a reference to compare against other coins when I need to. Yeah, the 72 DDO clip planchet. That was a bit of a surprise. That was even a surprise to me. Well, sure, it is all my personal collection until I sell it, but I tell you what, if I stopped selling today, I'd be in a little bit of trouble because I'd have to find some way of being able to pay back the loans that I've got on some of the coins that I've bought to sell. That's kind of how it works. Most coin dealers, they operate on each other's money. Well, folks, I'm getting naughty here. And when I get naughty, I'm going to have to take my medication and go to bed. But I appreciate you showing up, and I appreciate everyone here. You guys take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And I'm going to go ahead and call it a night and sign out. Good night, folks.